I wanted to say on April 3rd, let me just show you the thing. This is where the hummingbird came 7 times and pecked, and I found a jewel or a piece of jewelry with, I think, 8 different circles and then 1 middle circle. And the top of the circle, the first one was emptied slot, like it was missing the jewel in it. And then I realized that it was the phases. It represented a lot more than what I can care to go into right now. This is the most important part of what I need to let anyone know who thinks they're chosen, and or there's going to be the rapture of it's just going to be a great thing and not be a finalized test. Now I have a family here. You can see my kids. Here's the road. There's my house. It's a duplex. I have 2, a 3 and a 4-year-old. And if you can see where that telephone pole is, there were 2 cop cars and a cop car facing where that bus is down there. They had lights on and a car pulled over that way. This is at 2 in the morning. I had come out to smoke a cigarette right here. And as you can see, there's nowhere to go back this way. You'd have to jump over that briar branch, the shed, and there ain't no way to go. There's a dog over there at that house, and behind me there's a dog. So there would be barking and lots of stuff. My bicycle was right here. I reached down like this to look at the bike, and out of the corner of my eye, right here, all of a sudden, a shadow figure. I couldn't see because it was dark, but I did notice the figure. Once I realized that there was a figure there, I didn't feel threatened or surprised. I just paused for a minute, contemplating it. And then he took 2 steps towards me. I stood up. I faced him. He said, "Can you help me?" And I said, "How can I help you?" And he paused, and the perplexed look on his face is something I can't describe. I couldn't see his face, even though there's a super bright light right there. He was still in the shadows, even though it was just off. I mean, I'm trying to tell you this the best that I can. He said, "Can I be honest with you?" And I went, "Well, of course, yes, be honest with me." And he said, "Well, I have an outstanding death arrest warrant, and I'm trying to get away from the authorities," which I totally believed because of the cops and everything right down there. And I didn't know what to say. I just paused again. And he said, "I have money, so that's not a problem." And I walked down this way, and I'm going, wait a minute, maybe he probably ran out of that car, and he is probably on the run, which they would surround the house, and they'd be looking for him. And I thought that was going to be happening anyway, because they were right there, and if he left the car, they'd be coming any second. And so then I looked back at him and said, "Well, the cops are right there." And he said, after expression I still cannot describe, the look on his face was unbelievable. It looked like he was scared to death, like he had been crucified, and he was about to be crucified if he were to be caught. And that's kind of what the impression I got. And so I said, "Well, they're right there." And he said, "They're coming?" And I said, "Well, yeah, they're right there." And he immediately turned around and just walked that way. But not walked, I wouldn't say. I would say he made haste, and he went right back there. I went like this. This is how long, okay? So I started at 4:17. I went in here this fast, looked at the cops. They were still there. Went inside the house, grabbed something that was right over here on the other side, came back out because I have a family. And so I grabbed a thing of mace because I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to get hurt. And I wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to hurt my family if I did invite him in, because I was going to invite him in to come into the garage. I had thought about a thief in the night. Then I came out. I had a flashlight. I went, because I knew he had to be here. Like, how far could you get from? I Where could you have gone? Well, he could have went that way. Sure, but that's where the cops were. Why would he go that way? The only place he could have gone to is over the fences and whatnot. The other thing I want to make note of is if he were to show up in the middle of the night. No, can you hear my foot? You can hear me walk. Even if it was just 2 steps, I would have heard it. Nothing. Never a sound on gravel. Nothing. And then I saw the cops, and they just had somebody pulled over, and they drove off, and then the cops just left and kept on going. Unbelievable. I knew right away, and I had the idea that this is like, I don't know the whole story about the thief in the night thing, but I do know that I've heard of it, and that's kind of what he gave me the impression of. Why? Because I wouldn't take money to hide somebody in my house if it was going to cause them danger. Okay? I don't think anybody would. Not in their right mind. And so that hit me hard, and I was thinking, well, why in the heck did he bring that up? I had never asked for money. The thought never crossed my mind. And he asked me for help, and I don't think I helped him the way that I guess Jesus Christ would have helped somebody, but I don't know if, and I want your opinion, please. Did I fail and was caught unaware? I did realize who he was, but I didn't invite him in immediately. And I guess I would assume that could mean that I was picking my family life, protecting them over the King of Kings. But in my mind, I can't rationalize that because I don't. This is the rapture. This is the escape. It's not going to be just up in the clouds. We are in the air. Look, I'm breathing air right now. We are in the air. And the clouds, I think the clouds are clouded my memory. I got clouded in my memory because I didn't expect at that time, which is exactly what I researched after all this happened, and found something called the weeping and gnashing of teeth and the weeping bride. And I realized that it was potentially possible that out of the 10 virgins, that I was foolish or I was a wise virgin. And then it hit me really, really hard that I don't know if I failed or if I was questionably. I mean, the thoughts in my head were, I don't know who he is. I want to investigate it more. I know he could read my mind because he stood right there and he didn't move towards me, like as in not to be surprising me or threatening me. And I didn't feel any kind of fear or anything. And that was odd because I would imagine that I would have been most of the time this last 2 years since I've been here. Oh, I would have been completely surprised and etc. And I would like to note that if anyone has even watched this at this point this far, the neighbor down the street, he had somebody, I guess, apparently living in his backyard. And I don't know how that would be possible and not know this, but he said, oh yeah, he had a mattress and he would just put the mattress up during the day and leave. And yes, I guess it's possible that this guy could have been just having an outstanding death arrest warrant, which I'm saying, wow, that kind of like, isn't that, he knew that he had one last time, I'm thinking in my head, and he voluntarily went into it. And this time so I didn't know what to make of it. I still don't know what to make of it. Does anybody have any kind of knowledge like this? Because the neighbor, he kicked the guy out of his yard where I'm seeing it now as, no, you should have brought him a blanket. You should have brought him a tarp. And then I have found many other people that have had experiences that were off and weird that they totally failed. And if that is the test to escape what's coming, we are in big trouble.